Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar for Dynamics 365 Customer Service module, which will be presented today on 27 January 2017. The webinar will be presented by me, Ayan Bose, and my colleague Vandana Dahiya collectively. Today we would like to take you through the basic functionalities of Dynamics 365 Customer Service module, which helps all customer servicing organizations to have account management, contact management, case management, and entitlements agreement management for their clients. The customer service module enables organizations to ensure proper service level agreements are met for all their clients with minimal effort on tracking of data, as all data around the customers are captured and maintained within the Dynamics 365 platform, giving all users of the application a holistic view of progress of cases for their customers. Customer services module capabilities helps the account manager, the queue manager, the service managers, and the service advisors being on top of their cases in progress with quick analytics of all cases status and service level agreement achievements. Today's webinar session would involve taking the participants through a quick introduction about our organization, followed by a story around which we have prepared a demonstration. We would then showcase a demonstration of the customer service cycle, followed by an open session for the question and answers from our participants. Let me quickly introduce our organization to you. Dynamics Square is a Microsoft certified partner having operations in India, Australia, UK and US markets. Having experienced professionals across Dynamics suite of software solutions covering Dynamics CRM and lately Dynamics 365, Dynamics AX, NAV and SharePoint, Dynamics Square in a short span of time has acquired more than 160 clients worldwide. With state-of-the-art IT infrastructure and flexible engagement model plus 24/7 support services makes Dynamics Square a runaway success. Dynamics Square, being a partner of Microsoft Dynamics Suite business, has completed multiple implementations in different domains. We have implemented Dynamics Suite for manufacturing and retailing companies through retailing companies who also own company-owned outlets like Lollyland, IMPOS, who deal in leading hospitality POS systems for their customers. We also have implementation in companies who are in printer manufacturer and distributor network business like Kyocera, and companies who are into service industry, for example, Koala Images for the World and KKR. Our clients list depicts the versatility of the domains we have done implementations in. Coming to the introduction of our presenters for today. Well, I am Ayan Bose, who would be leading this webinar. I have an overall experience of about 20 years, out of which a substantial number of years I have been involved in CRM projects and project implementations across industry domains. I have Vandana with me, who's a functional consultant. Say hi, Vandana.
Hi, everyone.
And she's a Dynamics 365 specialist. She helps the team in solution mapping for our esteemed prospects as well as clients. So let us quickly start off with our webinar.
Okay, so every customer interaction matters in customer service, as we all know. The Dynamics 365 customer service solution helps organizations respond faster to customer service issues by empowering employees to deliver consistent and efficient customer care. Dynamics 365 customer service can help your firm maximize brand loyalty and improve the value you are providing to clients by allowing them to engage on their teams, whether it's through employee assistance or on-site service using customer service and field service modules. Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service helps your organization be at its best by having all the necessary tools and information at your fingerprints to deliver outstanding customer service. Moving on, being an integral part of Dynamics 365, customer services is designed to help customer service teams engage customers and deliver the best in after-sales service. This solution lives as a layer within Dynamics 365 and can be activated by Office 365 administrator. Only users that need access to the solution need to be licensed for it. One, start with buying a subscription for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Customer Services app by visiting the billing panel, which is inside the admin portal. Only users that need access to the solution need to buy those and can start using the application right away. As you saw in this slide, starting on with the customer service helps you have 360-degree of your accounts and contacts, manage their activities and cases with defined service level agreements and entitlements. The simplified workflows within service level agreements and entitlements ensure that appropriate information can be prompted from systems to the user as well as the customers at appropriate timing. The customer service module of Dynamics 365 allows an organization to keep a track of all their accounts and contacts, plus have a 360-degree view for them. Manage activities related to accounts and contacts. Manage queries effectively for, I'll start. Manage queues effectively for emails and auto-routed case. Effectively manage cases with its related attributes within the case records. Keep a track of service schedule, service level agreements and entitlements for cases as well as child cases. Track cases statuses along with achieved service efficiency levels. So, we have a storyline here wherein we have a few participants. They are part of the cycle that we are going to show you today. We would like to show how each participant acts at different stages of a customer service cycle. Our account manager manages the clients for an organization. Our queue manager manages the queues to route the cases, queue items to relevant personnel within the organization. Our service advisor takes the phone calls and emails and take appropriate actions on them or convert them into cases. Other department personnel who are assigned the relevant cases as per the defined routing rules take charge of their cases and resolve them so as to ensure the customer's issues are addressed effectively and efficiently. The service level agreement settings and entitlement settings helps an organization to make their personnel adhere to service SLAs as well as help them to identify the available entitlements for creation and resolution of the cases respectively. So moving on, our service manager keeps a track of cases, entitlements, cases, SLAs, keeping the management informed using the customizable dashboards, which we'll see in our demo. Account and contact management. Within it, our account manager manages all accounts within Dynamics 365 which are created during the sales cycle of an organization or are created as required. He manages the parent and child accounts hierarchy as part of the account management. Typically, accounts are organizations or group of companies, as we say. He creates the contacts within the accounts and maintains the primary contact with each account. Typically, individuals are maintained as contacts in Dynamics 365. With Dynamics 365 social engagement installed with the service app, we are also able to gather social profiles from social engagement to Dynamics 365 for accounts as well as for the contacts. All phone calls and emails received from the accounts or contacts are captured within the records as associated activities.
Moving on, activity management is the next step in the cycle. All phone calls received by service advisors through IVR or any CTI are converted to phone call records in CRM and are attached to accounts or contacts depending upon the phone number identified on the phone call records. All emails received through email server to Dynamics 365 are tracked and are auto-attached to accounts or contacts depending upon email address identified attached to them. Emails can also be tracked in queues in case there are multiple email addresses. We will talk about that feature as we go along this webinar. All phone calls and emails received from the account or contact are registered within the records as associated activities as we suggested in the last slide as well. The social pane within the accounts and contacts keep a track of all the activities taking place for them and maintains a log for all in a chronological order with the latest being at the top. The activities panel also allows the account manager to maintain tasks, appointments, and other activities in the same social pane in a chronological order. Moving on. When an organization has multiple incoming email addresses, as we suggested in our last slide, they can be addressed by maintaining different queues maintained and addressed by different teams, which helps to segregate the emails and also allows these queue items which once received in queue becomes queue items to be assigned to specific team members or queue managers. The queue manager takes a stock of all to be worked queue items, emails, and assign them to the service advisors. The service advisors check all the assigned queue items, that is the emails in this case, and further take the responsibility of either responding to them or converting them to cases if required. These cases can also be routed to queues using auto-routing rules or manually to make teams responsible for the cases in the queues and take necessary actions further. The service advisor who creates a case is assigned a new case via queues can further create child cases for other departmental personnel if such a process exists in an organization. The service advisor can further assign the cases manually to some other team or specific user using assign, or CRM admin can define auto-routing rules to make the CRM assign these cases to other teams or specific users automatically. The parent cases and child cases can be attached with knowledge base articles to help the case owners check the steps that may be adhered to resolve these cases. Resolved cases attached with existing knowledge base articles can be used as guidance to resolve similar cases in future. If at the same time there are more than one case from the same customer, the cases can be merged to converge two cases into one and cancel the additional cases. Depending upon a case's outcome, the case owners can then further cancel or resolve a case. If there are cancel or resolved cases, these cancelled or resolved cases can also be reactivated if required.
So moving on, next we have is SLA Management. Defining the customer service schedule with business hours, holidays and business days helps define the service level agreements. The service level agreements defined would set the SLA on cases and the child cases, which would skip the non-business days, non-business hours and holidays, and parallelly ensure appropriate SLAs are set on cases and child cases. The service level agreements allows to define different parameters for SLA on the basis of SLA KPIs defined within service level agreements. The system also allows, without any customization, using simple workflows to define actions for resolution, for failure and warning stages, along with the SLA timelines for each stage within the SLA. Next, coming to the entitlement management and service analytics. So the service level agreements also allows to define entitlements for cases and child cases. An organization can restrict the number of cases or the number of hours for cases to be allowed for a particular customer using entitlements. Other attributes like channel of case origin, duration of the entitlements are applicable for, and applicability on creation or resolution of the cases are also defined within entitlements. The creation or resolution of cases decrements the entitlements of a particular customer so as to ensure the service advisors are aware till when they would be allowed to create a case for a customer. Any additional hours or number of cases beyond the entitlement defined can be deducted from future entitlement agreements for the same customer. Service Manager keeps a track of all active, resolved, cancelled and reactivated cases through multiple configurable dashboards. This helps the Service Manager to keep the management and other departments well informed on progress of the service cases, SLAs and the service levels achieved for the service cases. So now I would like to request Ayan to take us through the discussed cycle on the system. Over to you, Ayan.
Thanks a lot, Vandana. So let's see how the whole cycle works out on the system. So I'll open up Dynamics 365 ourselves. So this is Dynamics 365 dashboard screen. Now this is the home page for any CRM Dynamics 365 user. These dashboards are highly configurable, as we had mentioned in our cycle as well. That and these dashboards can actually help the different users having different kind of security roles and different kind of business roles within the organization, can have attributes like lists or charts created from those lists and shown on the dashboard. These dashboards are nothing but first thing to do whenever you start your day. So it gives you a list of, here I have got a dashboard which is like customer service performance dashboard, which is like a mix of multiple charts over here. Now if I go through each of the charts one by one, it talks about trending product issues, case mix by priority, which is on the basis of active cases only. We have cases by agent, so which talks about how many cases are active for each of the agent who are working in the service team. We have another chart over here which is a pie chart that talks about all the cases for resolved, activated as well as cancelled cases, which is by the basis of origin, from where did these cases come from. So this is a very typical dashboard that management would be very interested in, as to where are these customers coming up from for for sending out their issues or concerns to the organization. Here we have cases by priority, which talks about, so we have default, low, normal and high priority set for any case. Depending upon what kind of priority has been set on the cases, it also talks about the owner who are owning those cases over here. So something similar to this particular chart, the only difference that it has got not only active cases but also all cases, plus it also has a priority defined for each of those cases that are owned by the owner. There is another chart over here which is a mix of incidents. So whatever cases that has been created. So this particular thing is depicted through a subject field on the case form, which I will show you when I am at the case form. Using that subject field, it depicts what kind of cases are coming in for, which helps the service manager and the service managing teams to identify kind of cases that they should be worried about and how many cases are coming for each of those incident types. Moving on, so the dashboards, from moving on from dashboards, the general cycle is like a person would either send an email or make a phone call via an IVR if you have an IVR already in place. And using those IVR, the phone calls will land up with with a service advisor, depending upon how those IVRs are connected to the service advisor agent's desks. So let me just go ahead and create, show you some phone calls that are automatically created in case you have an integrated module between your CTI as well as your CRM Dynamics 365. So I've already got some phone calls created. I'm going to calculate phone calls automatically using the admin module of CTI. Otherwise, there is always an option of creating the phone calls manually on Dynamics 365 whenever the call lands on a hard phone, in case you're using hard phones instead of your CTI. So let me just, I've already created some phone calls. I'm just checking out those phone calls. So let's open up this particular phone call, which is from a customer account, which is by the name of Poho Vineri. This particular phone call, once is created, we can capture the phone number, these two participant list as to whoever picks up this, whoever creates this particular phone call automatically gets called to defined over here depending on who's logged in, and the call from is depending upon what phone number has been populated in the phone number field. She makes a subject, she enters a subject line over here and then has the option of converting this particular phone call into a case. So we have already converted this particular phone call into a case. That's why you can see that the regarding field is set with the case ID over here. So this is the case that we have created from this particular phone call. Once a phone call is converted into a case, this particular case becomes the parent and the phone call becomes the child activity within the case. Same is the case with the emails also. So if I go to emails and check out the emails over there, I can see all the emails that has been received in different queues. So we have emails also over here. I'll just check all emails and I'll just sort it to show you the latest emails that we have received. So if you see over here, we have received an email also which has come to this particular email. So I'll open up this email address. Even the emails can be converted into cases directly, just like we can convert the phone calls into cases. So if you see over here, we have an option of convert to over here to case. We can of course convert the emails to opportunity and lead also. On phone call, you have the option of converting a phone call into an opportunity or case. So let me just go ahead and create a particular activity to show you how it looks like when you're converting a phone call into a case. So let me just open up the phone call. I'll enter, say I'll have a phone number. So I'm just entering manually. This may be entered automatically in case your IVR or your CTI is integrated with your Dynamics 365. Query about product. So I'm just entering some details over here. I pick up so I can pick up the account name, put in sorry, did I not copy it from here? So I'll copy it and I put the same in description and something. And then if you see the regarding field is still blank, I can save it, and when I convert this particular phone call, to a case, it gives me a prompt of asking to close this particular phone call form by marking it complete. So I'll pick up the account over here. I'll put up a subject line, something like, okay. So I can open the new case form and change this particular activity, tasks, or to complete it and close this particular form. So when I click on convert, the phone call form automatically closes. The case form opens up with certain details populated from the phone call form to the case. As you can see that we have already got the customer on the case form. So this is the case form now. So we already got the customer on the case. We have other details like the case ID is automatically generated. The case title is equivalent to the subject line mentioned in the phone call form. The origin, can you see this? So it depicts the where did this particular case originate from. And because I converted this particular phone call into a case, so if you see this phone call is attached to this case. So if we open up this particular phone call, you see it is completed. And if you see the regarding field is set now with this particular title of the case. So I can go back to the case. So this is typically how a case form looks like. That's how a case form looks like. So I'll come back to this case form later on. Let me just show you how it can convert the cases from an email. So let me just go back to activities again. So because we may have an option of multiple email addresses for an organization, we can always maintain emails into queues. So we can have multiple queues and define each queue with a unique email address. And once you have the queues in place, you can also define whether that particular queue needs to be a private or a public queue. So the private and public queue depiction is like this. If you make it a private queue, you need to add members to the queue so that those members can only see the queue items. But if you make it a public queue, anybody who has an access to Dynamics 365 service module would be able to access the queue items, that is the emails or anything that is there in those queues. So let me just open up this particular queue. So if you see, we have email that has been received for different reasons. Similarly, I have another queue which is customer service L2, and if I click on any of these two, any of the emails on these two queues, I'll pick up one of the emails over here. You will see the email address is different than the one that is in. So this is one email address. To check out what is the email address, I can actually go to the queue from here and see what is the email address. So this is how a queue form looks like. Similarly, I can go to other queues. So I can go to the service level 2 case queue. I can open up an item within that particular queue. So any item which is within the queue, whether it's an email or a case, is always depicted as queue items. So if I click on the queue, you will see the email address is different over here. So that's how queues are created and maintained, and it actually helps segregating the emails at the entry point itself without any hassles. So let me just open up one particular email. Let me pick up a email over here. Let's talk about this one. And I can even convert the emails. So because it's a received email, it is already in completed received state, it is always read only mode. So I can always and if you see, this regarding is still blank over here. So I can actually convert this particular to case opportunity lead. Before I do that, I want to show you one more thing. Because I have sent it from an email address which is set on a particular account already, the email, unlike phone call without integration, and it is like already integrated, easily picks up that particular email address and resolves that particular email address to the name of the account. And as you see over here, this is the account management. So whatever accounts that are created are maintained within this particular account. So any activities, phone calls, tasks, appointments happening for their particular account are shown in this particular social pane over here. So this is how an account manager is able to see a 360-degree view of an account. So this is the account information, right? This is the social pane, which has got all the activities that has happened till date with this particular account, whether phone calls, emails, or whatever, and which is in the social pane and in chronological order. This is the primary contact details. So you can have multiple contacts within an account. I have two over here, and one of them becomes a primary I can make a primary contact. Whoever I make a primary contact, that person's details are shown over here. Now, if you see this Facebook, Twitter, and cloud, this is what we are talking about as social profiles. Now, this can only be captured in case you have your Dynamics 365 integrated with social engagement module, which comes absolutely free of cost with any Dynamics 365 customer service license. So you can always define that we will cover in some other webinar as to how social engagement works. We have all the cases that has been generated for this particular account listed out over here with their statuses. In case there are other opportunities or a part of sales cycle, in case you have certain opportunities taking place with the same account, all these are shown over here in this subgrid with the statuses of each of these opportunities. You can go from here directly to an opportunity to see how the opportunity is being recorded and what all things are happening on those opportunities. Then we have field service section over here. So in case you are also using field service, you can define field service attributes for each account. So which is going to be the billing account for this particular account. So in field service, you have a service account and a billing account fundamental. So in case you have a service account, those are the accounts where the actual services or the work orders are going to be completed, and the invoicing would take place to this particular billing account that is attached to an account. Then we have other details of the organization, industry, Facebook ID of the company rather than of an individual, which we saw in the contact section. If you have been doing some marketing campaign and if these accounts have been generated from a particular marketing campaign, the billing details as to what is the credit limit, what is the currency that this particular account deals in, if in their specific payment terms. You have contact preferences defined over here, whether that particular account is willing to receive bulk emails, phone calls, faxes, and other things. You also have a shipping section which talks about when you're actually fulfilling orders for customers. These and if it is for a specific account, these shipping details automatically get transformed into the orders as well. And a small description about the account if you want to maintain. So this is how you have the 360-degree view of an account with revenue and number of employees also being captured over here, and the owner of this particular account as to who's the account manager. Now, multiple accounts can be created with parent and child account relationship. So if you see this particular field over here, this particular account is a parent account in itself, so it does not have any parent account for itself. But there may be accounts which has got parents. So you may have groups that you can create. So you can have groups like something like Coho Group, and Coho Group can have subsidiary organizations within themselves. So Coho LLC, Coho PLC, and those kind of organizations under the group. So you can have the parent and child account management also using the account form. On parent and on account management, you have this contact management you already spoke about. So customer account details can have separate email addresses and phone number, and individuals can have their separate phone numbers and email addresses maintained within the contacts. And so that's how the whole account management and contact management works, along with the hierarchy of accounts. I'll just show you a hierarchy of an account, how it looks like in case you have parent-child relationship between accounts. So if you see over here, these are all active accounts list. If I click on this, I'm able to see the hierarchy of accounts. So this particular account, AdventureWorks, has got two child accounts within itself. So this is one account. This is the two accounts under AdventureWorks. Then further, City and Powerlight has got another account below itself, which is Coho Vineri. So that is how you can see the hierarchy of accounts as well, and that is what hierarchy, parent and child account relationship means. Okay, so that's about account and contact management. Let's move on to, we have already seen the activities being created, and then from activities we can convert them into cases. So let's straight away jump to our case management. So here we have all our cases. So I'll open up, I'll open up a case. So I'll open up the latest one that is that we have created just few minutes back. So this is the one that we had created. So this particular case gives me all the details about the how this case is going to be transformed. So this business process flow at the top talks about how the cases would move on. So there will be multiple stages at each business process flow stage, which I can make mandatory on man or non-mandatory depending upon our my organization's policies or procedures that we follow for case management. And so making a field mandatory on a business process flow makes it mandatory, and also make sure that it doesn't move on to the next stage without that particular field being captured with the valid value in it. So that's what business process flow and mandatory fields on business process flow means. I have got certain details over here on the form, so I'll just minimize this screen and see. So this is the case details. So I have got a case title that is picked up from the from the originating activity. So that probably that was the title that was in the subject line of the email also. uh, yes, which is true. So I can see this particular email over here. So this is the email that came in, and we converted that particular email to a case. So automatically whatever was the subject line has populated in the case title. The case ID is automatically generated. I pick up a subject line as to what is it related to. This particular field actually defines my incident type that we saw in the dashboard in the beginning. So the account is automatically populated because the email address that sent that email was using an email address that is marked to Coho Veneri. Origin is email, so I have got the main contact being populated over here, which I can add my name. So here is entitlement. We will talk about entitlement also. Entitlement is what talks about whether you want to allow an organization to have a number of cases or number of hours for cases, in a way so that they do not go beyond. So there are entitled agreements that are done between organizations, and using that agreement, which is entitlement agreement, the service team can actually see whether they are allowed to create a case, or if they are creating a case beyond the stipulated a number of entitlements, they can even raise invoices ad hoc basis separately for that client, or reduce the reduce the number of additional hours or number of cases used from the future entitlement agreements. So that's what entitlement. We'll talk about entitlements when I show you the entitlement agreement screen. So I also pick up a product for which this particular case is being created. I have the, because I have picked up the customer's coordinate, shows me the details of the customer. So the email address and the phone number of the customer. In case I had social profiles, it would have shown me that also. I have other cases also that can be shown over here. So there are other recent cases tab, which shows me all the other cases that have been generated for this particular customer with their statuses. I have entitlements. We'll talk about entitlements. Then we have the SLA. Now this is what this is a timer ticker. It's a simple configurations within service management settings, which a O365 administrator or the CRM administrator can actually create before you go live with your service module. You can define your own filters, parameters, and also define what kind of solution, what kind of timeline should be defined for your failure time and for your warning time. So in our system we have defined we also have defined business holidays, we have defined business hours, as well as we have defined the parameters on which the SLA would be applicable, and also from till when is it going to be applied. So this is like something like this resolve in is something like a downtrending ticker which talks about by when this particular case needs to be resolved, and failure time talks about when this particular case so it is like corroborating with this particular date and time, this resolve when, this failure time. This warning time is something that helps the organizations to send out automated notifications to the case owners before the failure time approaches, so that the service owners or the case owners are aware about what all cases are in there and under their bucket and need to be resolved within what time. There are other associated details also. So I'll pick up each of the tabs one by one. So here we have case relationships. So in case you have similar cases, you can add those similar cases as references to resolve this particular case. That's what this similar cases tab is for. Merged cases is something I will show you how to merge case and what is it required. We also define I can also define whether this particular case needs to be part of another parent case. So you may have a situation in within your organization that your parent case remains with the main service advisor who is speaking to the customer, and you may require to create child cases and then assign those child cases to other departmental person who are not customer facing but resolve the cases at their end, and that is the child cases. Each of the cases can have their own different SLAs, and those, depending upon the SLAs, you can define warning times and the failure times, and of course send out automated notification to the case owners of those cases as well. I'll show you that piece as well. So this is a child case, as we can see, and how do we identify the child case within itself. So I can actually have multiple child cases being created within one parent case. So one child, there can be like one parent case and multiple child cases within it. So this particular cases, SLA time may be different from the child cases. So that is how the whole definition of SLA on different cases can be defined. So I'll go back to that. I'll go back to the child case also. So I can actually go to the child case from here. How do I go to the child case from here? That's too. नहीं, child case में जाने का ऑप्शन नहीं है. How is that possible है? होता है. So I can फिर से बोलता हूँ. So I can go to the child case from here on. So what I will do is I'll go to the case relationship sections over here, click on the child case, and I'm back on the child case that I actually originated from. So I'm back at the child case now. See, I'm back at the child case. Now this child case is with a different user. Then let's go down and see other details of the case. So we have already seen this. We have social details in case we have the social profile being captured from social engagement. Now the cases can also be converted to work orders. Now work orders, which we have covered something in our field service webinar. We have actually covered as to how a case can also be converted into a work order and then sent across to the mobile app, the field service mobile app of the service engineer at client site to complete the work orders. So one case, so all in all, so case management is something which is like a parent case can have multiple child cases. A case can be converted into work orders for field service, and those work orders can have multiple service tasks, which we have covered in our field service webinar. So that's how the whole service management looks like. Apart from that, that is how a case can move from one stage to other depending upon how you have been capturing details. So we have assigned to somebody else, we have sent the response, it is not escalated, I can move it to the next stage. So each stage can have also tell you as to how many days did it take from phone call to case, and then move on to different stages. So as you see, this phone call was created one day 17 hours back. Now it moved to case, and from there on I can actually see what is the each stage and how much time each stage is going to take is taking to move it to the next stage. Right. So this social pane, just like we saw within account, also holds all the activity that are happening on the case. Each of these particular activity that are happening on the case and gets a regarding field set with the case ID, which is this. Right, so that all the phone calls and emails are visible within the case, and in case there are multiple members collaborating on the same case, they're able to see what is the latest stage of the case. Also, any emails that are sent out from the case, and if somebody responds to those case, to those emails will automatically get attached to the same case, because the regarding field sets the case ID in incoming emails as well automatically. So that's how the the case management in rolls out to. So let me just go ahead and show you merge cases and child cases, so that we can understand how each converges. So I'll go back to the cases form. So this is the, I'll go back to the main case. I'll pick up this one. I'll pick up this one, which is a parent case, because it does not have any child case attached to it. So this is a parent case. As we see, there is no child case to it. It is not a child case to any other parent case. So this particular case, I can create a child case. So there are two ways of creating child cases. Either I can convert other incoming emails or phone calls into cases, then attach those new cases to a parent case by clicking on this over and adding a parent case to this form. The other way is, on the parent case, I go ahead and create a child case. It gives me the quick view form of case. I can populate other details. So like the subject, say I'll pick up this one, because child case is absolutely separate from the parent case, though it is in the same container. I can leave this blank. I say I've created it from Twitter. I pick up a product, so I'll pick up this one. I can define whether this particular case also needs to deduct the entitlement or not. So generally what we do is we will set the entitlement only on the parent case and let this particular field alone, so that we do not deduct entitlement on both the cases, because end of the day it is only one case for the customer. You may be requiring multiple child cases to get it resolved from other departments. So we can leave this field blank and give a description. Child case is resolved, something like that, and I save it. This creates a child case for me, and I can actually see all the child cases within the parent case. What I can do is I can go down over here. I can go down from here also. Click on case relationships, and I can see two child cases. So as you can see, this one I just created, and this one was created already, right? So when I click on this child case, this is the one that I created just now, a few minutes back. Right, and I can go and check the SLA. See, the SLA is automatically set because I have just created a case. That's how the SLA is set automatically on the case. And I can even, depending upon the subject line, I can route this case. If I click on save and route, let's see whether it routes the case to another person or not. Do we have maintenance so it has come back to the parent case. So let's go down. Sorry, case relationships. No, it is going to be see, so it has been automatically been transferred to Manoj Atri by when I used save and route. So this was this new case that I just created because of the so we have defined some auto routing rules that in case the subject is equal to maintenance, send this case to Manojatri. So this is the same case that we just created. So that's how auto routing rules work. Uh, and of course, this is how SLAs work. Right, now let's go back. So that's how parent and child case is defined. So I'm going back to the parent case now. So I have all the child cases over here within the parent case, and whenever these child cases are resolved one by one, I can ensure that I do not allow a parent case to be resolved without the child cases being resolved. So that's all part of settings that we can do of service management, by which can be done by the CRM administrator, that without the child cases being resolved, you cannot resolve the parent case. So we can all define that in the part of setting. Now let's see how merger of cases works. So let's go back to cases. So there may be a situation where you have when you have two cases that has come almost at the simultaneous time, and you think that the one case has come via phone call and the another case has come via email, and they have landed over two different people. Now there might be a situation then when you have two cases, and because when I'm on the case file, I'm able to see recent cases tab or the similar cases tab. So I can actually merge two cases into one to make sure that there is only one case maintained, and the other case that has been created by another person is cancelled, and only one person takes care of both the cases. So what I will do is I'll pick up this particular case, and I'll probably I'll pick up another thing which is from the same customer. Let's sort it out with so let's assume that I've got one case which is here and another case which is here. Now just let's assume that, and I can actually merge two cases. So when I do that, it asks me which is going to be the primary case. So I say this will be the primary case, and I click on merge. It gives me a prompt that the cases have been merged, and now there is only one primary case. So one case is merged successfully to required service. So I'll have to find out the required service case, which is this. So when I click on this, and the case that I merged with this particular case, so case relationships, I can see the other case attached to it over here, and that particular case status has been defined as cancelled. So the other case that has been merged into this parent case or the primary case does not require any more further actions on it, because this case is now merged to the to the main case, which will be taken care not the other details. So I can go back, and I can now work on this particular case only and resolve both the problems for him. One more thing that happens with merge case is that whatever activity that was used to convert that merged case to also gets attached over here. So you will see that that the email, I'll just show you that. I'll go back to the merged case once again just to show you one more thing. So if I go back to the merged case, I have an activity that is part of that particular case which it was converted. So you'd see this particular, there's no activity attached to it now. So that particular activity is no more part of this particular case, but has moved out of this particular case to the merged case over here. So this case, this activity was part of that earlier case which has merged into and is now moved into under this particular case. So that's how that's how two cases are merged, and ensuring that only one case is looked into and one case entitlements deducted for the customer. So let's talk about entitlements now. So entitlements is nothing but an agreement between the organization and the servicing organization as to how many number of cases will the account be allowed, or how many number of hours for service would he be allowed, depending on the agreement that has been defined. So let's go, and that's part of settings though. So I'll just touch base on the settings section and show you a service management just briefly, so that you can understand how entitlements can be configured. So this is how you configure your entitlements over here. So entitlements are configured account to account, or can be generic also. So generally we define it for all accounts. So if you see, there are multiple in draft status, so I'll pick up the one that we have created as active. So I'll pick up this one. So this is, I will speak about how entitlements are defined. So there are certain details that are very, very important to be captured. One, who's the customer that is this entitlement applicable for. Then between what date to what date this entitlement agreement is for. That's what start and end date means over here. This yes means, by default it's no. So when I make it yes, it means beyond the entitlement, which is over here and here, I should not allow cases to be created. So that's what it is. And even if it is created, then it should show in minus. And when the next agreement is created out of this, it will deduct from the, it will deduct from the new agreements that are created for it. So I can also define an SLA on this particular entitlement. So it should be applicable that when I define an SLA over here, if I have already got an SLA, then the entitlements will work in concurrence to the SLAs that have been defined. That is, it will skip the business hours, it will skip the business days, and it will skip the holidays also, in case your SLA has those skip definitions in place. I'll show you the SLA piece also, so that you can see how SLA level agreements are defined. I can make this particular entitlement as default for this account. So every time a case is created for this account, this is going to be the default entitlement picked up automatically. That's what it is. Allocation type. Now this is where you define whether it is going to be deduction on number of hours or number of cases. So that is how you define allocation type. Decrease remaining on case resolution over here. So I can define either the two, either case resolution or case creation. So that means when does the decrement start, whether when the case has been resolved or when the case has been created. That's what it means. Total terms is the number of, so total number of 9 hours is allowed for this particular case. So whenever a case is resolved, it actually asks for the billable hours. So depending on the number of billable hours, it deducts the number of hours over here. And of course, automatically the remaining terms after deducting the number of hours is picked up, is deducted from the remaining terms, which goes over here as well. This entitlement channel, now this is a very very interesting thing. You can define the total terms segregated into different channels. So if you have cases coming via email, phone calls, or web, or Facebook or Twitter, you can define multiple channels to have number of terms that are applicable against each channel. So in case one email has come in, and that email was converted into a case, and that case took about say 2 hours to resolve, so it will deduct from that entitlement will deduct 2 from here to become 7, right? So it will become 7 over here, and it will become 7 over here. It will not impact this over here. So what this entitlement channel grid means, that no matter where it comes from, whichever channel comes from, how many hours is the each channel going to be allowed for entitlement out of the total 9, right? So it is not this plus this, it is like out of the total 9. So if email uses all the 9 hours, then obviously this phone call can, though it might have 8 remaining, it will still not allow, because the total terms have automatically been utilized, because total depends upon the remaining terms. I can also define products against against entitlement. So I can define customers assets over here, or customer products, and ensure that whenever a case is created for a particular product for this account, only then the entitlement starts working. Or I can define contacts for whom the entitlement will be applicable. So if a contact within this account calls up, only then the entitlement will be applicable. Or I can keep it generic, that in every time a case is created for an account, the entitlements are applicable. So that's how entitlement agreements are created. It's that simple. Once a case is resolved, so I'll just do one thing to show you how entitlement actually impacts. So I'll go back to a case for Adventure Works. Okay, I'll go back to the cases. I'll go back to these cases over here and pick up a case for adventure works. Let's say this one, right? So this has got an origin of phone. So it should actually reduce the entitlement from the phone channel. And when I click on resolve, so let me resolve this case. And see the billable time. So this is how it is going to reduce. So if I deduct, say if I say 2 hours, let's assume, so I'll define 2 hours. I say resolve. So it is going to be using this entitlement and reducing the entitlement by 2 hours because I've used 2 hours for this particular service. So when I click on the entitlement for this particular account, you see it has become 7 now. So total entitlement has become 7, and because I've created that case from phone call and the total entitlement for phone call channel was 8, it has become 6 against phone call. So that's how the entitlements work. So next time another case is created, it will use these number of hours only to create a case. In case it goes beyond that, it will show you in negative balance. That's how the entitlements work. Now let's go back to service management under settings again and see how SLAs are defined. That is also very easy to configure. So you first have to define your customer service schedule. Before we do that, we'll also have to look at holiday schedule. So we'll go to the holiday schedule. This is how you define all your public holidays that are applicable when you are not going to impact the SLA for your customers. So you can define a holiday calendar and define all your holidays within that calendar for a particular date, right? So whenever if you are using holiday calendar in your service schedule, what that would mean is that the SLA would skip these dates when the holidays have been defined. I'll go back to service management, then I will go to customer service schedule over here, and I define the customer service schedule calendar, which I can define the business hours, the business days, and the holidays. So I have got business hours 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So between this time only the SLA would be applied. Beyond these business hours, the SLA would be skipped to the next day. That's how the SLA works. So Sunday and Saturday would be the business day that would be skipped, and holidays picked over. So the number holidays would also be skipped. So in case you create a case today, it will first of all check the number of hours left over for today. Then whatever number of hours are defined in the SLA, it will skip those number of hours up beyond 5 p.m. It will skip all the hours till next day 8. Now tomorrow being a Saturday, it will skip Saturday. It will again skip Sunday because those are the non-business days that we have defined. And in case there are holidays that have been defined, so 30th we have defined as a holiday in our holidays calendar, it will skip 30th as well. So it will then start your SLA from 31st 8 o'clock in the morning. So after skipping the number of hours and days. So that's how the service calendar works. Let's go back to the service management again and see how you can define SLA. So if here I've defined this, I go to the service level agreements now. And here I define my filter criteria and parameters. So this is the SLA. So I can define when this SLA would be applicable from, so whether it is going to be on the basis of created on, so I can define multiple, I have multiple options over here. I can define on which the entity this particular SLA would be applicable. So I can, the best part about Dynamics 365 is it allows you to apply SLA on any entity that you have in CRM as well as custom entities. So you can actually define multiple SLAs depending upon the entity that you want to have SLA on. Enhanced SLA, so there are two kind of, so here I have used the business hours. So as you can see, I have picked up the service calendar schedule, which includes the non-business days, the non-business hours, and the holidays within it. The SLA and type enhanced and standard means in enhanced SLA type, whenever you are pausing whenever you want to pause an SLA time by using on hold or researching tab, which is part of service management, I can actually pause the SLA also by ensuring that I click on allow, pause and resume for enhanced SLA. In standard SLA, it doesn't gives you the option of pausing the SLA. It will keep on taking for yourself. So you cannot pause your SLA. So that's why enhanced SLA is the typical thing that we generally would use. Then we have the SLA record. So I can define within the same SLA record, I can define multiple attributes. So here I have defined that there is a parent case SLA and there is a child case SLA. So let's pick it up and let's see. So when I pick up the parent case SLA record, I can define how, what would the criteria that would be chosen. So I have picked up a criteria over here. So the case subject contains data, which is the first ACA, so that is going to be applicable from. Success criteria is the case should be resolved, that is the success criteria. In case the failure would happen in 3 days, and when the if it is failed, if it has failed, if it has gone beyond the 3 days, then it should send an email to the, I can define on that. I can actually define. I want to send certain emails to, on success. I want to send an email on failure, or I can send an email before the warning time has reached. Similarly, I can go to the, I can also define other records within the same SLA record. Here I have defined a child case SLA. Here I have defined other parameters, like this is going to be applicable only when the parent case field contains data. The one that we saw just now for parent case was only subject. So here I am saying that this is going to be applicable only on child cases. And then I can define same fundamental of success criteria, failure criteria and warning criteria, and also define actions for each of the criteria, that is success, failure and warning. So I can actually define uh, my own way of sending across cases, which picks up dynamic values from the case form. So I am picking up case customer over here, I am picking up the owner of the case over here, I'm picking up the owner of case over here, I'm picking up the case number over here. So I can put in dynamic values, and this, because this particular workflow would be triggered from the case itself, it will automatically get attached to the case also. So I can see all the activity that are happening on the case. So that's how you can define your own SLAs and workflows to take actions on the success of those of criteria, and then have those SLAs placed as an active and made it as default, so that whenever you create a case, this particular if I show you this, I'll just the default, and so if I click on this, you have to, whenever you have created a case SLA, or any SLA, you have to ensure that this particular case is not only activated but is also set as default. Only then it would start applying to the future cases that you create after making the SLA as default and activated. So that's what a service management looks like. So all in all, how that's what we saw today, that how an organization using customer service module can keep a track of all their accounts, their contacts. They can have parent and child account relationships being tracked. They can keep a track of all the activities that are happening on account or cases. They can have all the cases for an account within the 360-degree view, and have also appropriate SLAs on them to see that their customers feel great about the after-sales service capabilities of your organization. They also do not need to. They also do not need. Do not feel the need to approach the organization repeatedly to get the solutions to their concerns, because everything is defined as per service level agreements, and in case a service level agreement is breached, the owners of those cases are automatically notified. Customer service module capabilities not only enhances the organization's accessibility to relevant data about their customers, but also takes a no-nonsense approach when it comes to servicing them. So we would we would be also be showing you other accessibility capabilities of a customer service module, which may enhance the organization's accessibility to relevant data about. ये काट देना please. Blind दोबारा क्यों बोलना मैं शुरू कर देना. We would soon be back to showcase other functionalities of Dynamics 365, which may enable organizations and also helps organizations across all domains to be efficient, and they can track their performance across departments. So you can keep watching out for our space over here for future videos. Now let's open up this session. So I'll just open up the session for our questions and answers to see whether we have any questions coming in. So Vandana, do we have any questions coming up?
Yeah, we do have some questions coming through.
Right. So let's hear them, please.
Yeah, sure. So the first one is from Jerry Hoggs from Sydney, and he says that he wants to implement service and field service module. What would be the appropriate licensing for the same as per Dynamics 365 is concerned?
Right. So earlier, before Dynamics 365 was launched, we had a version called Dynamics CRM 2016 Service Pack 1. Now, till that time, we had the hierarchy of licensing as per enterprise, professional, basic, and essential. Since Dynamics 365 launched in December or rather November end, the licensing has also been changed as per module wise. So in case you want to have specific users only using service module, then you can use only the customer service app license. In case you have specific users who are only going to use the field service app, then you can buy license for only field service app for those users. But in case you have users who are going to use both of them together, some part of customer service and some part of field service, then the suggested way of going for license is to take the enterprise license, which gives you access to 4 modules at the same time. One is, of course, the customer service module. You get the field service module access. You also get access to the project services as well as sales module. So you have access to all the 4 modules in one license. That's called Enterprise Plan 1 license.
Oh, that is great. So I think that answers his question
Yeah,
very well. So there's another query from Ellie Matthew from Melbourne, and the question is, can we integrate calling software with the service module provided by the Dynamics 365? And parallelly, how much time does it take?
Right. So yes, it is. So to give you a heads up around this, that you can integrate any CTI to be integrated with your Dynamics 365 module to get your phone calls populated automatically. So yes, it can be done. We have already done implementations across a few domains wherein we have integrated CTI modules which are cloud-based as well as infra-based like Avaya. We have done integration with Exotel. We have done integration with Czentrix. So those are few names of cloud-based CTI systems which can be integrated. There are 2 ways of integration between the Dynamics 365 and the CTI. So one way is wherein you give access to your discovery services of Dynamics 365 and let the CTI admin module consume your services and pass on the parameters to your phone call form. That's one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is that you embed the the CTI's admin module within your CRM Dynamics 365 dashboard, so that everything you can do from within CRM, including the part of disposing of the calls rather than doing it from the CTI module, doing it from within CRM. So that is also a possibility. Depending upon which method we choose to integrate, the time is totally dependent on that. Say if you talk about the CTI admin module, choosing to call the CRM discovery service and pass on the parameters, that may take lesser time than the embedded technology of having the CTI's module embedded within the CRM Dynamics 365 dashboard. So it totally depends upon how much what method we choose. Okay. Right. So do we have any more questions, Vandana?
No, that is all about it as of now, I think.
Right, right. So thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for all your questions, for all your future queries that you may have, or any other question that you may still have about the customer service module. You may please feel free to email us at info@dynamicsquare.com.au. Alternatively, you may also visit our website as it is mentioned over here.
Yeah. So with this, we conclude today's webinar on customer service module. Our team will be doing another webinar very soon on other aspects of Dynamics 365, and we shall be sharing the meeting invites accordingly. Thanks for attending the webinar today. Thanks, Ayan.
Thanks a lot, Vandana, and take care, guys. Let's see you soon with another webinar about Dynamics 365 platforms. Thank you.